Welcome to this introduction to JBI Access Control. Today we're going to show you the basic access control features and functions. These are the main three screens that you're going to use. The one that you'll use most of the time is the basic operate. This will list up all the doors that you have on the system. On this opportunity we've just got a single entry door. You can either select the door by clicking on it, or you can use the select all button that will select all your doors. When your doors are selected, they'll be highlighted as shown. You can click on the monitor button, and now this door and any other doors that you selected are being monitored. So if we swipe a fob, you will see that the system records which door it is, who it is who's come in, what department they're part of, and what time they came in. And you can see in the corner, you've got a nice little picture showing you who it is. A lot of receptionists would use this if they were going to check identity. Also gives you a quick and easy reminder of who the person is. There we go. There's another person swiping in. You can see this is Jane Martin. See the time that she swiped in, and she swiped into the entry door. It'll also record if people use the push to exit buttons to get out. So if we push the exit button now, you'll see the door's opened up the top, and you can see that it's giving us a record of the door being exited by someone pushing the exit button. That's the basics. Check will allow you to check if the door's got all the system information that it needs. Adjust the time is pretty self-explanatory. It will change the time to meet up with your computer. Upload is if you've added any new card records and you need to get them onto the controllers. Get record will bring a record of all the swipes that are stored in the memory of the controller. You can't do a get record when you're monitoring. What you can do is use the real-time get, which brings records from the controller whilst it's monitoring. So if we turn this on now, you can see it's starting to bring in the records that are already in the controller. And if we do a couple of actions now, so if we push the exit button and then we swipe a fob to show someone coming in, we can then go to query swipe records at the top, which is basically where we see, stop monitoring first. Now we go to query swipe records, and this is a record of all the actions that have happened on the system. You can see the person, the time, which door they came in. These can be filtered quite extensively. At the minute it's set to all events. We can do it for particular days. So if we set it to yesterday, for example, we could search for as many days we wanted, but we're just going to set this for a single day to yesterday. So we select yesterday and the extra time. We could change the times we wanted to just working hours, but in this case we're going to just bring up all the records for yesterday. You can see there's a couple of people come in yesterday. Inside those records you can choose a member of staff, and it will bring up all the records for that member of staff on your selected period. Again, if we change it to Jane, you can see all the records for Jane on that date. If we want to see all the records for Jane, we can just clear that out. So we put it onto first event, last event, which is all events, and now we can see all of the times that Jane's been into the system. If we clear that down, we can pick by cleaners, managers, office staff, whichever department. I don't think we've got any cleaners set up at the minute. See if we've got any managers set up. Oh, no managers set up at the minute. If we do office staff, you'll see we've got the office staff all set up there. We can see a record of all the office staff. So it's pretty powerful, and there's quite a few options on that. If we come back here to the entry door and we start monitoring it again, the other feature we can do is we can remotely open the door. So if we click here, you can see the door opens in a little graphic, and you can see when the door shuts. The time the door is entered and held open for can be adjusted in the programming. If we want to get rid of the records and clear this out just to make it a bit neater, we can clear them out so that we've not got too many records sat down there. No need to do that, it just makes it easier to see. And there's also a map function where you can put the doors on a map, and you could have a visual view of what was going on in your building. We won't get into it on this demonstration. So if we go to basic configuration, we can now see how we set up our departments and how we set up new cards. So in this example, you can add a top level department. We've got three here: cleaners, managers, office staff. And if you want, you can add sub departments or branches. Fairly self-explanatory. Personnel, this is where your people are recorded in the system. So you can see here we've got John Smith. We can see the date that his card is actually from. You can put an end date if you want the card to run out at a certain date, and you can pick their department. Very easy to add cards. You just click on the auto add, you choose the door that you'd like to swipe the new cards at, and you click start. Then you can choose the default department that they go into if you want to. You don't have to do that, but it might be easier if you're adding people to one department. Walk over to your door and swipe your card, and you'll see the new card number is brought up in the box. Click on the OK button and it will confirm how many cards you're going to add. You can add multiple cards all in one go, or you can add one at a time. And you can see a new card has been added to the list of cards. Double click on the card, you can enter the person's name. You can give them a photo if you've got something stored on your desktop already, anywhere on your computer. You just locate the photo, select the photo that you want, and it'll bring it into the program for you. You can set a start date for the card in the future if you want to delay it, or if you want to preempt someone joining the firm, for example. You can set an end date. On the Others tab, there's various options you can record against that person. Quite extensive if you want to add extra information in against the person and keep a record in this program. Once you're happy with all the information you've entered, you just click on the OK key and you can see it's updated there, and Bill Jones is now in the system and he's in the cleaning department. Once we've added the fobs, we have to give them access to the doors, and this is the access control tab, access privileges. At the minute you can see we have the entry door set up, and we've got John Smith and Jane Martin that have access to the entry door. So if we swiped Bill's fob now, it wouldn't work. If we go to change privileges, we can see that Bill is there. This gives you a list of all the people, and below would give you a list of all the doors that are installed on the system. If we want to put everybody, for example, onto a door, we move them both all across. But in this example, we know that John and Jane are already set up for that door, so we'll just take them off using the single button there. When we're happy with that, we'll go down to the bottom of the screen and click the OK button. You can't quite see it on this tutorial, but it will give you a prompt telling you how many people you're going to add to which doors. And it uploads it. You can see it uploads it to the system for you. And when you're happy with that, you go back and you can see there that Bill Jones has now been given access to the entry door. If we go back to, you can filter in here very much like we did with the query records. You can filter by person, by department. You can even filter by door as well if you want to do that. You can print, you can export to Excel, you can copy privileges from one user to another, or you can edit individual user privileges. So pretty fully functioning. You can add times and various things like that, but we won't go into this tutorial. So if we come back to the door and put it on monitor, which is how we would recommend you leave it in the default state, then you can see if we swipe Bill's fob now, it'll pop up and there's his details of Bill coming in. That's the main part for this introduction today, just giving you a quick idea of how easy it is to use the system and a little bit of the functionality. There is a fully inclusive help manual included in the software that's available through this button down here. Just click on manual and it will pop you up a manual in Word that you can search through and see all the information about how to use more complex features of the system. We hope you enjoyed this tutorial.